Hey, Undisputed listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com now. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA for a special Christmas Eve edition of the show. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Great to see you guys. How are you doing?
Good to be here.
How are you? Good morning. So, all I want for Christmas is the NFC East. Santa, please.
Hey,
Just come right down my chimney.
You've been naughty all year.
Right down my chimney tonight. Just leave me the NFC East under my tree. It's a lousy little division.
Think about
it's not a big ask, is it?
Think about
just
this.
The East.
Think about all the naughty things that you said about Goat James and my homeboy. And now you want Santa to be nice.
Well, maybe. It's like
interesting.
It don't work like
or
that.
nice list. We'll have to wait and see because
I didn't mean it.
Yeah, the situation right now, the race for the NFC East could potentially come to a close this weekend. We've been talking about it all year. Washington can clinch the division with a win and a New York tie or loss. However, with a Washington loss and a Dallas win against Philadelphia, it would leave the door open for the Cowboys to still win the division. So, Shannon, when we come back on Monday, what will the NFC East look like?
The Washington football team will be your NFC East 2020 division champs, and the Cowboys season will officially be over, and I'll get an opportunity to gloat some more, because not only am I gloating about the championship the Lakers won, but I'll be gloating to say, I told you so, that you guys weren't going to make the playoffs, and I even predicted 8-8, but I don't really see that happening, Skip.
Did you tell me that half my team would be lost to injury? Did you tell me that? Did you predict that?
No. Hold on. Skip. What about all these other teams that had COVID and the Broncos having to play a quarterback that was selling mops just the day before at Walmart?
The Broncos aren't in the NFC East.
They should be, because they would be in contention also.
They probably win it.
So that's where I'm headed, Skip. I think this is a game that no matter who plays now is trending in a direction that Alex Smith is going to get the start. This should be a deep Ron Rivera Terrier defense. You guys are going to have to win this game. Now, Alex Smith is normally very cautious with the football, although you wouldn't know it by some of the games that he's played. But if he does not turn the football over, or if Haskins, whomever plays, if they don't turn the football over, I understand that Carolina, although they haven't won a lot of ball games, they've been in all the ball games for the most part, except the last half of the Tampa game, Skip. They've been in all the ball games. But if they don't turn it over with the way their defense, the Washington football team defense is playing, I don't see a scenario in which Carolina can drive the ball, say, 2-3 times down the field and get touchdowns. Now, if you give them short fields, yeah, all bets are off. But I'm saying make them drive the football to get the ball in the end zone. I believe Alex Smith will make enough plays if he's the starter. Dwayne Haskins, if Dwayne Haskins starts or plays, all bets are off. I have no idea what's going to happen. More times than not, probably something bad is going to happen. But I'm going to believe Alex, and I'm speaking as if Alex Smith is going to start and finish this ball game, and I'm going to take the Washington football team to win this division, and it'll be over. It starts at 4:25 for you, so by 6 o'clock, you should be crying.
So you're saying it doesn't matter whether we win or lose against Jalen Hurts and company?
Win, lose, or draw.
We're done.
Or forfeit, it is
because
over.
It would be over if the Washington football team wins its game head-to-head with our game.
Yes.
Because Washington got flexed out of the early window to the late afternoon.
I was kind of hoping to stay at the 1 o'clock game.
I was
so
too.
you guys, so when Washington wins, then you would have to play.
We'd be dead in the water. We'd just be sitting there saying, we don't even have any reason to play.
Right. and get blown out.
Okay, my turn. I can best summarize my emotions by saying this really hurts, as in Jalen Hurts. Never have my emotions been more mixed than they have leading into this Sunday.
Right.
As you know, I am the biggest Jalen Hurts fan on the planet.
Yep.
I am driving that bandwagon, and I didn't second guess. I first guessed, as opposed to somebody I know who leaped aboard the Patrick Mahomes bandwagon after he was drafted and after he started playing in his second season. Yeah. I said it right out of the box. I said the day that the Eagles stepped up and took him in the second round, I said, kaboom, that's it for your man. Give it to him, Wentz. I said it's over because Jalen Hurts will prove to be the better performer at quarterback. I'm not saying he's more gifted or talented or more prototypical than Carson Wentz. He's just a better football player at that position than Carson Wentz. And I think 2 games in, most people are saying, yep. Here he comes. Well, here he comes to Jerry World. Well, obviously, I am a lifelong Cowboy fan. I admit I have blue blood, and it's not royal blood. It's just Cowboy blue blood. And I cannot help myself because I feel once again, I just feel it right now. I'm being sucked down into the Cowboy trap. Yeah. And I thought I was out of it. I got both feet out of the trap about a month ago.
Yeah,
I said, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm out. And then they got me again. You can say they're teasing me, they're tormenting me, they're misguiding, misleading me.
Because they know they dangle a couple of wins in front of you, yes. You'll come back.
and now they have pulled me back into full-on delusion, right? Where I'm saying, you know what? We got a shot. Well, I do believe it. And I slept on it last night. I said, be careful here. Let's be completely objective.
And reasonable.
And let's really analyze. Let's cut through what has happened. Well, I just saw them score 30 points at Cincinnati. And remember what happened Monday night at Cincinnati? Pittsburgh got shellacked by the Bengals. It was 27-17, and it really wasn't close.
But you told me as a division rival, that's different.
Okay, but I saw my team just 2 Sundays ago, 2 weeks ago, go to Cincinnati on that same field you were watching on Monday night and score 30 points and win 30-7 over those very same Bengals. No division rivalry. I got it. Okay.
Did you get 4? How many turnovers you get? Didn't you get some turnovers?
3.
Stupid score?
Would you believe that over the last 2 weeks, my team leads all of football in turnover differential because we are 7-0. We got 3 in that game and 4 against the 49ers. So we are we have not turned it over in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Who knew? Thank you, God. Thank you, Santa. I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden we're 7-0 in turnovers over 2 games. Would you believe we scored 41 points against San Francisco without Ezekiel Elliott? Well, something's happening here, Mr. Sharp. I'm sorry.
So you recommend Zeke don't play on Sunday? Is that what your recommendations are?
I think he's going to try to go. He was limited in practice. He's got a calf. The weird part of his injury is it's not a calf pull, it's a calf contusion. So he got kicked in the leg.
Right.
And it's still bothering him. I don't really get it, but I don't really care.
Right.
Because I thought we looked a little more explosive with
Pollard,
with the guy you once called Mike Pollard, Tony Pollard at running back. And I'm not saying he's better than Zeke or he's the long-term answer. I'm just saying right here, right now, I saw some pop that I don't see from Zeke.
Right.
I'm worried about Zeke going forward because I just think he's just never going to be what he was. It just doesn't feel like that to me. So we're not talking about the distant future. We're talking about the now future, right? So on this Sunday, I think Tony Pollard will probably start. They might give Zeke some carries. I'm not sure. Stephen Jones made the point that just on sheer physicality, he can still wear down a defense. I'll give you that. But when you're being physical with them, they're also being physical back.
Well, Skip, here's the thing. Wearing down a defense is fine if you have the lead. Tennessee Titans, if Derrick Henry wearing you down, they have a lead, 7, 10, 14 points. But when you're behind 20 points, what good is wearing down the defense?
Okay, well, thanks to 2 early turnovers from Nick Mullins, we were ahead 14-0, and I didn't even know what to do with myself because it's been ages since we had a 14-0 lead.
And then guess what? San Francisco got right back in the ball game, and you ended up having to go nip and tuck. They tried to onside kick. You guys run it back. But that game although what should have been a blowout because of those early turnovers by Nick Mullins, it was a ball game.
Okay, so here comes Jalen Hurts. And obviously, the first part of this question is, can my team beat Jalen Hurts?
No.
I don't love it, to tell you the truth, but I just have a feeling about my team that they have caught little fire. It's not big fire, it's just little fire. It's off-radar fire, where all of a sudden what they have left to work with after being decimated by injuries, the offensive line is playing at a decent level where Andy Dalton gets protected just enough to make 4 or 5 throws that can win a game.
You really, Skip? So you feel that he's going to be able to get that kind of protection against Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and Barnett? Sweat. So that's what you believe in. You feel pretty courage.
Sweat's out this time, but that's okay.
Dang.
Yeah, okay, but
Your day comes,
Fletcher
Steve.
Cox hasn't practiced, but you just know what that's
Yeah,
about. He's just resting up so he can eat, right? And he will come in. They will cause problems. I still have 3 really good receivers. I don't care what you say. They're all Pro Bowl quality receivers. They didn't make the Pro Bowl, but they're quality.
Yeah.
So I say they can make enough plays. Darius Slay is coming back for cleared concussion protocol and full participant in practice, so that's no good for me. But still, I think look, I'm going to be such mixed emotions. I've never been thrust into this bad a situation, trying to root for my team while also hoping that the rival quarterback has a good game. And I believe he will have a good game because everybody has a good game against my defense.
Yeah.
So I say fairly high scoring, but I say Andy Dalton, who I used to call the best quarterback still in the East until Jalen came along. Now I think Andy Dalton's the second best quarterback.
Oh, wow.
But I believe because they're on a quiet little late season roll, that they will manage to turn him over a couple of times, which he has not been doing. He had the late turnover the first game he played against New Orleans, which was just careless. But I think they'll turn him over a couple of times. Trevon Diggs has been talking about they're close from Alabama days together, and he said, today the kids today are different. Because usually when you're playing your best friend, you're like, boy, I hate this. I don't want that. Today, the kids want to play against each other and beat each other and humiliate each other.
Have bragging rights.
Right? What? Okay, so that's what he said. I want to get him a couple times.
Right.
Well, I hope he does.
Right.
He's back, and he is a player, and I think he's destined to make some Pro Bowls in his career. So I have a very good feeling that my team's on enough of a roll at home. Remember, they're like the only team in the league that gets fans. I don't know. It seems like every game at Jerry World, there are more fans. It feels like it's half full.
It went from like 5,000 to 6,000. Now we're up to 30.
I look around, I say, it's half full. It looks like COVID. What COVID?
So let me ask you this, Skip. Here's a team, your defense now. Your defense is second to last in rushing. I mean, they're last in rushing defense. They're second to last in scoring defense.
But a lot of that got built up from all those disasters early.
But here's the thing, though. And what you're doing is taking the last 2 games and so you want to whitewash 12 previous games and only look at the last 2 games.
Somehow this defense made peace with the new coordinator, Mike Nolan. I don't think he'll be back next year, but somehow internally, maybe led by Sean Lee, who's still the leader of that defense, who is healthy, and I think he's going to play a lot on Sunday. I think they all just said, because you don't like him. But
I like him. He just can't play no more.
Okay, well, Van Der Esch has got an ankle, so I don't even know if he's going to be able to go. But somehow that defense has said, let's just do it in spite of him. Let's just play our technique the way he wants us to play and see if we can figure this out. And DeMarcus Lawrence has risen and shone in the last 2 Sundays, where he gave me 2 Pro Bowl games in a row. And I need another one against Jalen Hurts. And I just got a feeling they can win this game 30-27. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, back in Washington, okay, look what's happening here. You realize they just got flexed. So all of a sudden, for the first time all year, they're going to feel pressure they have not felt because they've been doing it in the shadows. They sort of came from nowhere when you least expected it. They started Haskins the first 4 games. He was a disaster. They did steal the first game against Philly, and that kind of kept them afloat. Then they wiped out Dallas twice, second time on Thanksgiving. It was just annihilation, humiliation. And yet there was no pressure on them because nobody really cared about the least until lately.
Well, I'm disappointed that you guys got flexed out because we know what you guys do in prime time. You guys buckled in prime time. Remember every prime time game that you guys have played this year? What has happened? You look terrible. So I'm disappointed that you got flexed out. That they flexed Cleveland and the Giants in your schedule, because that would have been a loss.
Okay, but I told you yesterday, I was hoping that the playing field would get leveled between us and the Washington football team, our longtime arch rival, our most bitter rival, because we got strapped with one Ben DiNucci game in prime time at Philadelphia. How lucky were you in that game? Our 7th-round rookie had to play, and he was not ready to, and I'm not sure he'll ever be ready to.
Well, Washington saying we got strapped with Dwayne Haskins.
Okay, well, you did not. You picked him. He was like the 15th overall pick in the draft. I mean, come on.
Ron Rivera said I didn't pick him.
Okay, well, he didn't, but now you got problems, because it doesn't look like it's going to be your 3rd-string quarterback, Taylor Heineke. That would be fair as fair, right? Because he's undrafted out of Old Dominion, but he did start a game for Carolina a couple of years ago.
Right.
But then you got Steven Montez from Colorado, undrafted rookie, is on your practice squad. And I was even hoping he would be your Ben DiNucci, that you're going to have to play him. Well, it's just fair. Level the playing field. You can have one game with Steven Montez. We had one with Ben DiNucci.
No, don't do that, Skip.
We had one with Garrett Gilbert. He played pretty well, actually.
Look, come on, Skip. We're playing with a guy that many people thought he would never play again. He almost had his leg amputated.
Okay, I got it.
That should be our Ben DiNucci.
Okay, all right. So, whatever. So, it looks like Alex Smith, he threw on the side. He's listed as limited, which means I guess he's going to play. That's what it feels like to me. He's got a calf injury. Okay, so how limited will he be if he starts the game? Well, all I got to tell you is the last time I watched Alex Smith was at San Francisco against the same team that we just blew out 41. They got a late Hail Mary 33. It's 41-33. Alex Smith had a QBR of 9 on a scale of 0 to 100 in the game back in his old stomping grounds where he got picked 1st overall at San Francisco.
Right.
Help me out. Is that good?
No, Skip.
No.
Because, look, the thing is, they're probably going to heat him up. Skip, he can't move.
Okay, thank you. So it's either going to be Alex Smith or they're stuck with a Dwayne Haskins who...
They can't get off the roster fast enough.
Okay, they cannot because, again, they fined him. They took away his captaincy.
Well, they should put an S on his chest. Selfish.
Okay, selfish. That's fine with me. And by the way, Steven Montez on the practice squad liked a tweet that called Dwayne Haskins garbage. G-A-R-B-A-G-E. It was just written out garbage, and he liked it. Ooh, that's strong. Yeah. I wish he was starting. But the point is, if you're stuck with Dwayne Haskins for whatever reason, because Rivera's saying, well, if it's not Alex, it's still Dwayne.
Right.
Your heart going to be in it, playing for that guy after what he did to you?
Well, Skip, we still got to check. But I think we set that aside for the simple fact of what's at stake. We still have an opportunity, we still have an opportunity to win the division. Yes, I'm disappointed because he put us in a situation that didn't need to happen. And, you know, the old saying, Skip, it's easier to apologize than ask for permission. Because do you believe that he would say, hey, Coach Rivera, let me ask you a question. I know we lost today, but you think it'd be okay if I go to the strip joint and blow off a little steam?
Yeah.
But it's easier to apologize than ask that man for permission.
Yep.
So with that being said, I still believe the defense can win the game. Now, Alex Smith, Skip, we know Alex. He got the name checked down because he was unwilling to take risks. I looked at, Skip, Alex Smith threw 125 touchdowns in 5 years in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has 112 in 45 games. So what will he have in 5 years? So you're probably talking about 170, 180 touchdowns. What this guy threw in 5 years. So he's very cautious with the football. The problem is, Skip, he just can't move. Okay. It's hard for him to get out of harm's way.
Okay, so this is going to be a low-scoring affair. When I guessed the point spread on Carolina at Washington, I just thought, I'm calling the Redskins, the football team, I'm thinking
3-4.
No, I thought it'd be 6. I thought, come on, over Carolina, they've lost what? They're up to 10 in a row now? 10 in a row they've lost. And I look, and it opened at only 1.5. Washington football team by 1.5. Yeah. Now it's been bet up because people are saying, really, only 1.5 to 2.5.
Right.
Well, that means Carolina, according to the odds makers, has a shot here.
They do. They do. Because they're looking at, Skip, they're looking at the quarterback situation in Washington. It's not like it's a pillar of stability. You got Alex Smith, who missed the game the previous week with a calf injury. We don't know he's throwing on the side. Hell, Skip, throwing on the side ain't throwing on the field and taking steps because he's being very cautious with it. He's not going back, dropping and driving that football because he doesn't want to run the risk of injury. And then they got the Dwayne Haskins. They're like, he's +3 for the other team.
Okay, so I watched the whole game on Saturday evening, Carolina at your man Aaron Rodgers on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And what did I see Carolina do to your man Aaron Rodgers in the second half? They held him to 44 yards passing.
Yeah.
And Aaron said, I sucked.
Yeah.
44 yards passing, and they sacked him 3 times. And you told me last week they can't sack anybody, and they sacked Aaron Rodgers 3 times against that offensive line.
They got him, Skip. But here's the thing. Do you believe Green Bay's defense is the equivalent of Washington's defense? That's what you have to ask.
It's pretty good, but it's probably not the front seven.
That front seven is relentless.
Okay,
and this is what Chase Young, and this is where those guys got to earn that money.
So here's what I love about my new man, Teddy Bridge over Troubled Waters. He's going to be my bridge over troubled waters this year.
No,
I need Teddy Bridgewater to come up big. He is capable of winning road games when you least expect it. Last year for New Orleans, he went up to Seattle, remember that? In his first big start, what did he do? He beat the Seahawks when they were riding high.
Beat your team.
Okay? But look what he did. He outplayed Mahomes at Mahomes this year, and they finally lost 33-31, and he out-QBR'd Patrick Mahomes in his home, boy. How about that?
But guess what he had?
Yeah.
That was the first game he had who back? C-Mac.
Okay.
And
all right. There's no C-Mac. He's out. That's for a fact. Okay. Then what else has he done? Well, he did Teddy Bridgewater and company. They went to New Orleans, and they only lost by 3, 27-24 to Drew Brees. Matt Rule, college coach from Baylor.
Yeah.
They play with that old college try. They hang in these games. They went to Minnesota when Minnesota had won 3 out of 4 games, and they lost 28-27. I can show you a bunch of games where they hung in and played it close.
They got a nice offense. They got they trio of wide receivers of DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and Samuels.
Yep.
They got a nice little group. Davis can run the ball. He's not Christian McCaffrey, but he can run the serviceable.
I agree. The 3 receivers are all dangerous because they can run.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a shot here, and I'm taking the shot. I say it's going to be the upset of the year, and it won't be that big an upset because Washington is going to feel the pressure, and they've got trouble at quarterback. They have issues surrounding the quarterback position. It's going to be low scoring, and I believe Teddy Bridge over troubled waters can get to 20. I think he can put up 20 against that defense, and if he does,
get 23.
20-17.
We getting 23 then.
Okay.
Whatever y'all get to, we getting the 3 more.
And all of a sudden, head-to-head, you can watch it unfold right before your very eyes on your 2 TVs. You'll see, the Dallas Cowboys are tied for the lead in the NFC East.
Ain't happening.
And then it will come down to the final weekend, and then I'll really be back on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon because they have to end the Washington season the following week.
Well, what happens if Danny Dimes in your season?
Well, he will try, and Jason Garrett will try to get his revenge as the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
And it won't happen because we already beat them once, and there's just something about it's the rock, paper, scissors within the division. We got the number of, we are the paper covering the rock of the Giants.
Well, so what's Philly? So I got Philly beating you guys, and I got Washington beating Carolina, which that really doesn't need to happen.
Well, that's what you told me was going to happen last Sunday, and you were wrong on both counts. You told me San Francisco would destroy Dallas, and you told me...
I picked the Cowboys.
You did not?
I did.
You said it was over.
No, I said it was over because I thought Washington would win.
Oh, and what happened?
Dwayne Haskins happened.
Okay. Well, Seattle happened. That was a no-brainer for me. That was a gimme.
If they'd had a competent quarterback, they'd have won that game.
Okay,
you know that.
We knew going in they didn't have a competent quarterback.
But I thought he was better. I thought from watching, he was like, you know what? I see how Alex is doing it. You know, you don't have to take unnecessary risk. We got a defense, and as long as we don't give them a short field, we can win this ball game. And but that's okay. Your day. I'm not going to let you ruin my Christmas Eve because Christmas right around the corner.
Yep.
I'll deal with you on Monday, but I just answer my call on Sunday because I'm calling you after the game.
Okay. I will be waiting patiently by my phone as I watch my team win and your new team lose.
Okay.
Because I got a feeling about this. Please, Santa.
I
just got a feeling.
You can't be begging and talk about you got a feeling. That's not a feeling.
I got a Christmas Eve feeling. This is happening right here, right now. My team has finally taken off.
Well, Ambassador Tracy to help that feeling.
No mercy.
What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Shay Sharp. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before 2 something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
No mercy.
The Celtics and Bucs couldn't have been any closer last night. Jason Tatum banked in a three to put Boston up by 2 and left only 0.4 of a second remaining on the clock. The Bucs answered by lobbing the ball inbounds to Giannis, who got fouled and went to the free throw line. After draining his first, he missed the second one, which would have tied the game and forced overtime. So, Shannon, what did you learn from the end of this game?
Jason Tatum didn't call bank. Skip, if I know it's the first game, and I don't want to be overreact to just one game, but Skip, this should be concerning. If I get 87 from my big three, which is Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Holiday. Giannis was 35 and 13. Middleton was 27 and 14, and Holiday was 25 and 6. So I got 87 points, 33 rebounds. I shot 14, made 14 threes. I was better from the floor. I out-rebounded this smallish Celtic team by 15, and I still lost. Skip, not for one second. When Giannis went to the line, Skip, not for 1 second did I thought this game was going to overtime. Now, for 1 second, I was like, oh, man, Giannis got his thing. That wasn't KD or Steph or something. I didn't think for 1 second that this game was going to go to overtime. And he went up there and switched that first one, and I know everybody been walking, oh, yeah, he got this one. But did you see how short that thing came up on that second one? I thought it was my TV. That was his knees knocking like that, Skip. I thought something was going on.
Barely drew.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, but look, Milwaukee's not going away. Giannis was sensational in the fourth quarter, 18 points in the fourth quarter. And they have a good team, Skip. But, man, when you get 87 points from your big three with 33 rebounds and you lose a game, but also, Skip, not to get off too much off topic, if I'm Boston, I'm not giving up Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum for James Harden, Skip. I'm just not. They're too young. They're too talented. And you got a situation, Skip, because they haven't been tainted or had someone, well, maybe they have, that had someone in there that's like, okay, I'm big time and I should get this, this, and this, have security, I got no problem with that, have my own training staff, got no problem with that, but I'm gonna be late for meetings, hold the plane up, hold this and hold that up. They haven't been contaminated yet. I'm holding on to those guys. But this is gonna be, the East is gonna be a great conference this year, but Milwaukee, man, 87 and 33 and you lose, that's gotta be frustrating.
I would say. Okay, I saw it very differently than you did because I saw a Celtics team lead this game going into the fourth quarter 101-84 because of those kids you talked about who are still kids to me, but they've been around a while now. And so what my takeaway was from this game is it didn't change my view of the Celtics or Giannis in any way, shape, or form. It actually just reinforced both. I still don't see Jason Tatum as a superstar, as that guy who can do that thing when you need it done. I don't see killer will. I don't see supreme clutchness from any of the younger Celtic stars. They're stars, but they're not superstars.
They're coming, Skip.
Okay, but the only one I say has got that dog in him is Marcus Smart, who happened to play 38 minutes last night and go 0 for 3 from the field. So he's got the makeup. He has the intangibles. He just doesn't have enough tangibles to go with the intangibles, right? Okay. So they're up 101-84. You have to close that deal fairly easily. And instead, they let Greek Freak go freak on him in the fourth quarter, as you point out.
Right.
He got loose. He goes for 18. He makes 7 of 10 shots. They could not deal with him. He made 2 out of 4 from the three-point line in the fourth quarter.
You give him that. You give him that.
But when he makes a couple like that, you're like, uh-oh, here we go. And here they came. And Chris Middleton had a big fourth quarter with 10 more points. And so all of a sudden, they get in a position to perhaps win the game. And yet, Jason Tatum has the ball, and he's been having a pretty tough time in the fourth quarter because he has taken 2 3-point shots and missed both of them badly.
Right.
And to your point, he missed this one badly because Giannis was all over him with that length of his.
Yes.
He lunges at him and makes him change his shot in sort of mid-shot, and he misses this thing by 3 feet left. And he misses it high off the glass, but it's so high off the glass, it drops straight through the bucket.
Yep.
He did not call glass. The bank just happened to be open, and he stumbled into the bank and took away a big deposit because it looked like that was the game winner, and it did prove to be the game winner, right? Okay, now let's go to Giannis. I felt like ball don't lie because as lucky as that shot was, Giannis got a call that you shouldn't get at the end of a game. It's like a Hail Mary pass into the end zone at the end of an NFL game. You just let them play.
Right.
You don't call anything. Nobody calls anything.
Right.
And Tristan Thompson did impede him with his right arm. He sort of elbowed into him a little bit. Here it is. I don't know. I don't see it, but they gave Giannis this call. He pushed him a little bit right there, but the ball was already gone. I don't know. I don't see it. I wouldn't have called it. But he got the quote-unquote makeup call because obviously Jason didn't call bank. So Ball didn't lie. Ball said, okay, Giannis, we give you a reprieve. We send you to the free throw line. And the first guy I thought of was your man, LeBron James.
He'd have made both of them.
This is his worst nightmare.
He'd have made both of them.
Standing there all alone at the free throw line. You're completely solo. You have no help. You have no excuse. It's just you and the rim from 15 feet away. And it's going to be sink or swim. And you better sink both of them to go to overtime. And I do not believe LeBron would have made those free throws because he is the worst superstar late game, close game free throw shooter in history. And as I told you the other day...
You know what? You're probably right. In a situation like that, because it's not the playoffs, we need it to be magnified. We need it to be times 10.
Okay. I told you the other day that since he's come into the league in that situation, late game, close game, he's missed 15 free throws. He's 21 of 36, which is just horrible. These are game closers.
Hold on. How we get on LeBron? We talking about Giannis.
Well, I was just saying, you said he would have made those, but I don't think he would have made those. And by the way, he has 15 misses. That's 7 more than the next on the list, J.R. Smith. So the point is, Giannis and LeBron both have one, to me, sort of quote-unquote fatal flaw as far as greatness is concerned, and that is you have to make clutch late free throws. All the great ones could make their free throws in the beginning of the game or the end of the game. And they're both... Giannis is a career 72% free throw shooter, but his problem is the last 4 years in a row, he has sunk in free throw percentage. Yeah. He had 77% 4 years ago, which is, okay, here we go. That'll work. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he dipped all the way to 63% last year. LeBron is a 73% career, which is not bad, but he was 69% last year. Not good. Not up to his standards as you call him the GOAT.
Right.
Okay, so here comes Giannis. Down, down, down. And again, you do have, I know it was a short off season, but these are things that are fixable to me. You can fix your free throw shooting if you work hard enough. Does he work hard enough? I have no idea. Do you if you need some sort of shot doctor counseling, if you need some sort of therapy on your free throw shooting, if you need an analyst to help you with your concentration or your routine as you set up. But there was no way he was going to make the second free throw, and he almost airballed it.
Well, Skip, I think the thing is because there's so much for him to work on his shot, he's got to get a mid-range. He's got to get better from the three. He's got to get better at posting up. And so he got to get better at the free throw. So normally, guys, they're pretty good at a lot of different things, and they don't have to work on everything. They pick one particular thing and work extensively on that. But because he's deficient in so many offensive areas, Skip, what the hell is he going to just work on? He works on his three, and then now his free throw percentage, free throws go neglected. Yeah. What about his mid-range game? So basically, he just have to work on a lot of different areas, basically from the 3-point to the free throw.
I got it. And look, I know in perspective, Shaquille O'Neal was a lousy free throw shooter at 7 feet. what is he, 1 inch tall.
Yes.
And we know Dwight has struggled notoriously from the free throw line. We can go back to Wilt Chamberlain and all the really tall guys.
Yeah.
So I'll put Giannis in that category, even though he's not quite set with, what do we call him, 6'11"?
Yeah, 6'11",
okay.
yeah.
There is a 7-footer in Philadelphia, and we're going to talk about him versus Russell Westbrook next. But what I love about Joel Embiid, his saving grace for all of his antics off the floor that I don't love, he can make his free throws at, what do we call him, 7 feet tall?
Yeah.
He's 7 feet.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he shot 80%. Last year, he upped it to 81%. And last night in their opener, he made 8 out of 9. He is really good because it looks right from the free throw line. He has a nice form and touch.
Normally, as the guys get bigger, the free throw percentage come down. It's an anomaly. You know, Kareem was a good free throw shooter. Yao Ming was an excellent free throw shooter.
Good.
But normally, the bigger guys, Skip, maybe their hands are too big or whatever it is, Skip, their form, they just struggle from the free throw line.
Okay, and that could be LeBron also. Hands are just too big, and you can't quite get the right feel and motion.
Well, Kawhi making his free throw, but that's okay.
He does. He makes them. He's 85%.
But you need to leave LeBron out of this. LeBron, you know, LeBron would have. We've already been there. We've seen LeBron make those free throws. You saw him in the NBA Finals, right? NBA Finals, he made a free throw that put him up by 4 and closed it. Shut it down.
Did he have to make one to force overtime? No.
We made the block that would have won them the game.
Okay. After Kyrie made the shot that won.
That was before the shot.
The block was a bicycle built for 2. He got help from J.R. Smith, who cut Iggy off at the pass and made him pull up and shoot a layup instead of dunking it. Thank you.
So, in other words, to make a long story short, you feel exactly the same this morning as you felt going into last night. The Celtics are who they are, the Milwaukee is who they are, and you don't have confidence in Giannis.
I don't have big confidence in Giannis in the biggest moments. That he is the classic superstar. He is obviously, when you're winning MVPs back-to-back and you're defensive player of the year, you're a superstar.
Yes.
Do you trust him when it really matters? No. You do not.
But
what's happened the last 2 playoffs? Shrank.
But and another thing, how do you even get that when your guys got these kind of numbers? How the hell are you even down 17?
Good question. Okay, and I give you respect for you fought all the way back and had a chance to win the game, but you didn't win the game because you can't do that. You have one Achilles heel at the free throw line.
Well, they're going to have to get more than 12 points from their bench. Let's start with that. You're going to skip 12 points and not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Because you look at what the Celtics got from their benches, I mean, they almost tripled them up.
Although Drew Holiday, as a newcomer to that starting lineup, he sure looked good.
Yeah.
10 of 16.
Yeah.
It's 25 points. I don't know. That was pretty good. Yeah, you look like a nice new addition.
Yes.
Right?
Now, if they could have got Bogdan.
Might have helped.
Oh, it definitely would have helped.
Okay.
But, hey.
Okay.
Giannis, I was like, man, Giannis ain't making both of these free throws.
So, you know what? I disagree with your final takeaway about those kids, those stars. I think I would close my eyes if I'm Danny Ainge and I would do James Harden. I would. I don't know how many you'd have to give up.
I ain't giving up any.
Boy, I don't know.
I give him Jeff Teague.
Well, I'm afraid that won't get it done.
I give Jeff Teague, Carson Edwards, and 2 first-rounders. They don't want that?
He didn't even play last night.
He didn't.
Okay.
Skip, those guys that you mentioned, they're under 26. They're 26 and under. I'm not giving that up.
They going to win you a championship?
James Harden ain't going to win. What if James Harden won?
I don't know.
Toronto plunged because they had seen Kawhi's resume. Kawhi's done that. What are you just told me James Harden cracks in the biggest moments. So you want him to crack it in Boston? Do you understand the pressure that comes along with playing in Boston and championships?
I do. I just think he'd give you a little better shot.
In the East? With who? If you trade one of those guys, you believe James Harden and Jason Tatum or James Harden and Brown is going to be able to challenge the Nets?
If you could keep Jason Tatum with James Harden, you'd have a shot.
In no way. Skip, did we see how think about how Jason Tatum played with Kyrie. And James Harden is more ball dominant than Kyrie. And look how Jason Tatum played once Kyrie was injured and once Kyrie left.
Okay. I don't love the killer will of Jason Tatum or James Harden, but help me out. Better player, James Harden or Jason Tatum? Forget the intangibles. Better player.
Better player?
It's James Harden.
Better team player? Jason Tatum. And that's what it's going to take to win a championship.
Listen, James Harden has won a lot of basketball games in this league.
Not the games.
Okay, he has not. But he got you to the games. He got you in position to win it all.
You just told me last week he had the most turnovers in NBA, and
he's had about three big flameouts, maybe four.
And you told me how he just gagged against your Spurs.
Okay, but are you now it's up against Jason Tatum. Who's better?
I'm taking James Harden is a better player, but if I'm trying to build a championship-winning team, I'm taking Jason Tatum because I believe they just need another piece, Skip. But I'm not breaking that. I'm not breaking that duo up. I'm sorry.
I did not hear Jason Tatum call bank, and I don't think you did either.
No, he didn't call bank.
Oh, okay. All right,
but you were loving Jason Tatum when he did that number on the Lakers last year. You were loving him then.
Come on. All right.
Okay.
I know the season just started, guys, but it was quite a start for Russ. Russell Westbrook made a splash in his Wizards debut. He racked up a triple-double in the first three quarters, becoming the first player in 25 years to do so in a first game with a new team. The only thing missing from Westbrook's night was a win as Washington lost by 6 to Philadelphia. So, Shannon, give Russ a letter grade for his Wizards debut.
I give him a C-. Skip, he had 21 points, but it took him 22 shots.
Yep.
You shouldn't have the same amount you shouldn't have more shots than points.
Yeah.
And we understand, Skip, that he's never going to be an efficient guy. He's not going to be a LeBron. He's not going to be KD, one of these guys, Skip, that if they take 22 shots, they're normally somewhere 12, 13 for 22. They're in the, high four. They're probably 50, 52, 53%. That's never going to be Russ. Now, to his credit, Skip, he only took two threes last night.
And missed both.
Yeah, he missed both. But I think he saw early on, but I ain't got the three ball, so I ain't fooling with that. But I thought he ran the ball. He ran the play. Look, Skip, he's basically, like you say, LeBron is 25 and this getting up out of bed. Guy's a triple-double getting out of bed because he's a ball of energy. Because in order to track down the amount of rebounds that he get, you have to expend. I'm surprised he doesn't cramp up more than he does because he's chasing everything. And so for me, I'm going to give him a C, Skip. I thought he played okay. But 9 of 20, Skip, 9 of 22. Nah, so I gave him a C. I thought they were playing well, but it was just too much Joel Embiid, and I thought Ben Simmons did a tremendous job down the stretch also. But they're going to be, when I look at it, Skip, Nets, Bucs, Celtics, Heat, Sixers, Raptors. Now, the difference is this year, Skip, remember they got the 7-10 play-in. So now, okay, could they win a game or two in a play-in game? Pacers, Sixers, Hawks. The Hawks look good. Magic look good. Pacers with Sabonis and Oladipo, Brogdon. So are they even going to make the playoffs, Skip? You feel comfortable saying they're an 8 seed?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not think they're going to make the playoffs. So I will give Russ a B for last night because he played so hard.
Yeah,
how can you take that away?
Skip, he played hard every game.
Every game. He plays as hard as anybody. I still say, in part, he's motivated by triple-doubles because he realizes he has to play hard to get the rebounds, to get over 10. But he just was crazy playing hard last night. Again, it was
11.
the opening game, and he had 11 rebounds. But he had 15 assists, which is sensational.
Yes.
And he and Bradley Beal looked great together.
Yes.
And they expressed nothing but love for each other after the game. They said it was a joy to play with each other. Even Bradley Beal was just gushing about Russ and how much he loves the fire with which he plays, because Bradley says, I need somebody to push me and make me the best, and Russ will push you.
Yeah. Because he knows, Skip, all he has to do is, get out on the break, get to the three-point line. Russ going to push the tempo.
He will.
They're going to get back in the paint to try to stop him getting. He's going to get easy kicks all year long. He's going to get easy kicks.
Okay, so despite this, so he has a triple-double after three quarters. That means now in his career, he has 45 career triple-doubles through three quarters, 45. That's nearly 4 times as many as any other player in the past 25 years because it's insane what he does.
It is.
So you get to a triple-double after three quarters, 45 times in your career. It's impossibly great, but it gets you what?
Nothing.
It gets you nothing.
But, Skip, see, here's the thing. This is another reason why I gave him a C, and I'm surprised that you gave him a B. They had a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter, but Russ was minus 12.
He was. I agree. So they're up 10. And between Russ and Bradley Beal, somebody has to say no. You just have to say, this is our night, and we're going to close it, and neither could close in the fourth quarter. You know why? They don't have a nuclear weapon, an aircraft carrier like Joel Embiid.
No.
And that's why I keep telling you, I love the Sixers because of Embiid and Simmons, because it's hard to find two players of that caliber at that height, that size, that kind of impact. Look what Embiid did just in the fourth quarter. He had 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in the fourth quarter. He makes 5 of 8 shots, and he makes all 5 of his free throws in the fourth quarter. And right out of the box, they go on a 15-5 run, and all of a sudden you look up, and with 7:37 left in the game, the 10-point lead is gone, and it is tied. And then Joel just imposed his will on the visiting team because they don't have him. He's just too big and too good and too skilled.
Yeah, well, Thomas Bryant, Skip, he tries, but he just doesn't have enough bricks in his back pocket. Can the dude start backing you down? I mean, there's nothing you can do.
You just can't do anything with them. That's why Doc leaped at the opportunity to coach them. I don't know what they're going to do with Daryl Morey as the GM. Would they trade Ben Simmons for James Harden? I still wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it because I believe Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are a better pairing than James Harden.
I thought early on you didn't like them together.
No.
I love them together.
I like them more than I would like James Harden and Joel Embiid. I still believe in order for them to win a championship, and ultimately that's what you're going to be judged by. Ben Simmons is going to have to shoot the basketball. And I'm not talking about layups, and I'm not talking about floaters in the lane.
No, I got you. He tried a couple last night, but it wasn't too pretty. And then he's 2 of 6 from the free throw line, which is not great. But look he's roll out of bed. He gives you 16, 9, and 7.
Yeah.
So he's a triple-double waiting to happen, and he just does his effortlessly.
With 3 blocks and 2 steals at 6'10".
It's just who he is. It's what he does. And he defends at a very high level.
Yes.
Okay, so they take over the game, they win the game, and I sat back and said, boy, Russ and Bradley Beal, and I enjoy watching both of them, they look great together. And what's it going to get you? It's going to get you the joy of watching them play together, because if you're a Wizards fan, you are not going to make it. You're not going to make it. I'm sorry, because you ran down the list. As you said, Nets, Bucks, Sixers, Heat, Celtics, Raptors. Okay, well, that's a lot. Remember, the Pacers went 45 and 23 last year. And last night, Sabonis had his career game. He had 32, 13, and 5.
He's skilled.
That's his career high.
People sleep on it because he's in Indiana.
And albeit against the Knicks last night.
But Skip, he's skilled.
He is extremely skilled. So you going to put them in them? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
The Hawks had a huge opening night. They have beefed up. I got it. We're going to talk about Trae Young.
Oh, I agree.
Trae or Mice Trae.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But he was tremendous last night. He was as efficient as he's ever been in his life.
If anybody's ever been in his life.
That is correct. So I give you, they're the darlings of the East. And Rondo's not even healthy right now, but he will help them when he...
Oh, so he's not healthy.
Yeah, I don't know.
So in other words, opening night, we wouldn't have had Rondo.
Probably not. Neither would we. Yeah, neither would the Clippers. But are the Hawks capable of at least being in the play-in tournament? You better believe they
Magic.
are. And how about the Magic? They beat the Heat last night because they're that good.
Marcus Fultz. I'm not saying he's going to be. He was like, oh, yeah, I see why they took him number 1. But he seems to have fixed that. Yes.
No, I agree. And Fournier led them with 25 points, and Vucevic is really good.
Aaron Gordon.
And Aaron Gordon is really athletic.
Terrence Ross coming up the bench.
They got firepower to them, so are they going to be in this mix? Yes. So can the Wizards get in the play-in tournament 7 through 10?
They better hope that. Skip, I think that's the best they could hope for.
Okay, because I don't think they're going to finish 8th. I don't
either.
Okay, so I say good luck. But I say congratulations to the Wizards fans because I would rather watch Russ get a triple-double every night than watch John Wall. That's just me. So I think it was a good trade for the Wizards, just on sideshow, just watchability, marquee value.
Your guy Danny Green played 18 minutes and was minus 27.
He was 0 for 4 from 3, picking up where he left off.
But you wanted us to get, you lost Danny Green.
Yeah. Well, listen, he's had his, hey, well, be careful now. What happens? San Antonio championships, Toronto championship, LA championship, Philly championship. Everywhere he goes, he's got that Midas touch.
But opening night for us, he did drop 28 last year. He was letting them threes go. He was good last year.
Yeah, boy, now you got Luka coming up tomorrow, and what did he do at Luka it was a year ago, November 1st? He made the three. He saved LeBron.
Don't do this, Skip.
Saved him.
LeBron, what are you doing? Shoot it.
LeBron,
Shoot it,
what
LeBron.
are you doing? You're down 3, right?
What I'm doing is drawing the defense into me, and then I'm going to kick it.
And then he was like, oh, God. How lucky am I? I see Danny Green open.
Okay.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy.
Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians said that his chemistry with Tom Brady started from their first meeting after a rocky start to the season and some criticism from Arians. The coach has now been singing 43-year-old QB's praises. When discussing their comeback against the Falcons, Arians said, quote, to watch him play when we protect him and put him in situations where he can play like he did in the second half of that ball game, he still is as good as there is in this league. Shannon, do you agree?
Sure, but it's not a compliment. Skip, there are 20 quarterbacks that you could say that if you protect them, they'll do that. But what this goes to show you is that everything needs to be perfect for Tom Brady. You need 3 Pro Bowl wide receivers. You need an all-century tight end, and you need a line to give him max protection. Remember the very thing, the story of Job. They said the reason why you serve God is that he's giving you everything. You got 10 kids. Look at all these herds. You got sheep and you got cattle. So why would you not serve him? How could Tom Brady fail with all of that? He needs all of that. Skip, that was the thing. That's all I've ever said. I said the thing is that as a player that played 14 years, and I didn't play as long as Tom, but what I started to realize is that I could have a good quarter, I could have a good half, I could have a good game, but I couldn't put them together like I once could when I was younger. And what you've seen from Tom is that you see a good half, you see a good quarter, you see a good game, but you have yet to see him put those things back to back to back to back. Stack them like he once could. Skip, that's it. But to say, oh, if we protect him, what quarterback couldn't you say that back of the top 15 quarterbacks? I'll give you top 20. What top 20 quarterback could you not say, if we protect them, they could have done what Tom Brady did? So in other words, in the process of trying to give Tom Brady a compliment, Skip, you know what that old is, a backhanded compliment? If we protect him, well, hell, you protect Drew Brees, you protect Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, and yada, yada, list goes on and on and on. So that's not in actuality, what he thought he was giving him was a compliment, was actually like, well, shit, we need to have everything perfect in order for Tom to be Tom. And you know that, I know that, and everybody else knows that, Skip. And all he did was just verbalize what you knew deep down inside and what I've been saying all along. He needs that hedge to be perfect.
You know, here it is, Christmas Eve. It's such a sacred day, and now I have to wade through all this Brady hate spilling across the table on Christmas Eve. It's like, it's blasphemous.
Skip.
Forgive him. He knows not what he says. Okay. Are you telling me that 20 quarterbacks in this league could have done what Tom Brady did in the second half at Atlanta when he threw for 320 yards, which is more than any quarterback in the league has thrown for in any second half this whole season? Help me out. I'll give you Mahomes. I'll give you he would have a chance to do that, although I'm not even sure he could pull this off.
He didn't get protected like that for the entirety of the game. Skip, let me ask you a question. I want to ask you this. When have you ever heard them say about a transcendent or generational quarterback, if we protect him, he can do that? They never said that about Peyton.
That's the oldest cliche in the book.
Thank you.
No, they always said it about any quarterback. They said it about Tom Brady when he was in year 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like the bedrock of football. If you protect the quarterback, if he's that good, if he's Pro Bowl or superstar, he will shred you. But there are levels of getting shredded, and he shredded Atlanta in the second half like nobody could.
Skip, I watched Dak Prescott do that to Atlanta in the second half.
No, I'm talking about killer will. I'm talking about getting them right back in the game. Dak never really got them back in the game. It took an onside kick that was about a 1,000,000,000 shot, watermelon kick, to even give him a chance to win the game.
Well, hold on. What about your guy in the playoffs when you were down 31-3? We've seen Dak do, over the last 3 years, we've seen Dak do that. You told me when he threw for, 280 plus against the Philadelphia Eagles and 3 touchdowns.
Okay. At that point, he had 4 Pro Bowl offensive linemen. Tom doesn't have that right now. He was down Donovan Smith, his left tackle, on Sunday. And right now, I just go to Pro Football Focus. You have no respect. But I'm going to respect their evaluation of offensive lines in the league. They rank, by the way, Kansas City's offensive line is ranked 10th in pass blocking. In pass blocking, Tampa's is ranked 14th. It's sort of middle of the pack. So he's not getting consistently great protection.
Mahomes.
Okay, 10th best versus 14th. You got the edge. You got the edge.
Skip, you make it seem like it's 10th to 29th.
Okay, so look what he keeps doing. Listen, it takes such killer will precision. It takes such poise to lock in at halftime and say, watch this, watch what I do, and throw for 320. You can't miss a trick, man. You got to make every right call at the line of scrimmage. You got to make every throw on the money. You can't miss, because the defense gave up another quick touchdown in the third quarter after your opening drive touchdown, and they went down 24-7, and he said, I got it, no problem. And all of a sudden you look up and it's, wait a second, it's 24-all? And then all of a sudden it's 31-24 when he hits Antonio Brown with the sweetest bomb you'll ever see.
But Skip, all I'm saying is, Skip, is that he's saying protection. What was the difference between Aaron Rodgers losing to Tampa? They couldn't protect him. If you protect him, boom.
But that's just a cliche of football.
Okay, then
it works with Mahomes too.
No, Mahomes. So was he getting protected against the Saints?
Reasonably.
Skip, he got pressured more in the Saints game than in any other game in his career. And look what guy could have done that? Did you see what your guy did against that pressure? A 5 QBR. That's what your guy did.
Yeah, well, if you give a guy the ball for 41 minutes to 19 minutes and he can only throw for 254, something's wrong.
No, it's not the fact that you got the ball. Is that what you do with it? You keep Drew Brees in his offense. Your guy kept going 3 and out, and Drew Brees kept getting on the field. We kept the ball so long, Drew couldn't really get a rhythm.
So back to Pro Football Focus. It ranks Tom Brady right now, overall grade for the whole year, 5th best quarterback in the league. Just for the record, 5th best. Guess what? Who leads the whole National Football League in what is called air distance, just how far you throw the pass? Who leads, Mr. Sharp? The guy you called old Dink and Dunk Tom. That's all he does is get rid of the ball in 2 seconds, and he dinks it and he dunks it. Nobody has thrown the ball farther than Tom Brady has so far, because he's in, guess what? No risk it, no biscuit, Bruce Arians offense. And he's trying to play it the way that Bruce Arians wants it played. So help me out. If you're throwing the ball that far, doesn't it take a little longer to wait for your receivers to get open deep? Okay, so is he putting himself more in harm's way than usual? Yes, at age 43, he's saying, I'm going to risk this. I'm going to risk my body to throw the deepest passes in pro football.
Kind of like what Jameis did? Put his body in harm's way?
Okay, well, Brady's already passed Jameis. He's in the dust in Tampa right now.
Jameis threw for 5,100 yards.
Okay,
so Tom Brady got to get 600 yards the next 2 games.
Tom's got 32 touchdown passes with 2 games to go.
And Jameis had 33.
Okay, well, guess what's going to happen?
But, Skip, all I'm saying, look, first of all, if anybody thinks that Tom Brady has outplayed Mahomes, Rodgers, Russ, Tannehill, or Allen, they're fooling themselves.
Okay, well, the top 4 on this is overall grades by Pro Football Focus: Rodgers, Mahomes, Deshaun, and Russell Wilson. Okay? And Tom Brady is 5th. I don't know. They must be crazy, I guess.
They are crazy.
That's what I see also.
Hold on. Did you see have you I know Tennessee Titans because they got that big batter ram, King Henry. But you goes unnoticed. that you do realize that
playing
Tannehill
at a
is
high
31
level and a
5.
shock to me. I got it.
But I thought, what about your boy Baker? What about Shake and Bake?
In the last 8 games since Odell's gone, he's ranked second on the list, number 2. But we'll get to that at another time. I want you to understand that over the last 6 games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been outscored 59-7 in the first quarter. 59-7.
So I would okay. What appease me this?
Okay, now I got to let me give you the bottom line to this. The punchline to this is over the next 3 quarters, second, third, and fourth quarter of games, the whole year. Guess who has the best point differential in all of football? Tampa Bay does. Over the last 3 quarters, that's what they did to Mahomes. Remember that game? Mahomes threw for only 100 yards in the second half, and here came Brady.
If you don't mind me asking you a question, who's the starting quarterback? So when they go out on the field for the very first time, can you tell the people at home who's the starting quarterback? Because I want to know why they only get the 7 points. So is someone else starting and then Tom Brady's coming in relieving them? Or is Tom Brady? So in other words, what you want the people to believe is that if you look at the final 3 quarters, Tom Brady is the solution. But what you will not tell the people that Tom Brady is also a part of the problem in the first quarter.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know what's happening here? I can explain it to you. Tom Brady comes out and says, okay, Bruce, okay, Byron Leftwich, you guys you script those first 15 plays, and I'm going to try to do it your way. And he tries to do it their way, and they try to establish the run. They're ranked 29th in rushing yards right now, 29th out of 32 teams. So they try to do this, they try to do that. He tries to go with because he's so coachable, so teachable. Okay, I got it, Bruce. I'll try this. I'll do that. And all of a sudden, he looks up in the second quarter, and they are getting annihilated. And guess what he does? What? I got this. Let me do it my way. Let me start to figure it out.
He didn't do it against the Saints?
Against Atlanta, he says, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. Atlanta beat the Las Vegas Raiders 43-6 3 weeks ago in that building.
Wow.
43-6.
They also lost to the Cowboys.
Just for the record.
They also lost to Detroit. Okay. They also lost to the Bears.
Okay,
but Skip,
under Raheem Morris, they've been much better.
Skip, think about this, what you're saying. You're saying in order for Tom Brady to do what he's doing, he needs 3 Pro Bowl receivers. He needs an all-century tight end.
No, he just didn't want to be stuck in that mess up in New England.
No, I'm not. I got no problem with that. He's well within his right, and rightfully so. But let me ask you, and people at home, feel free to chime in. Give the top 15 quarterbacks 3 Pro Bowl receivers and an all-century tight end. And yes or no, do they believe that they can have numbers comparable to Tom Brady's?
Did any of those guys make the Pro Bowl this year?
Who? Mahomes did, Rodgers did, Russ did.
No, the receivers. No, none of them made it. Is Gronk a Pro Bowl receiver anymore? No, you say he's half of what he used to be.
He's not the same, but you still have to account for him. You cannot just put any willy-nilly person on him. So in other words, he needs that. Mike Evans coming off 2 or 3 consecutive Pro Bowls.
Timeout. Who has the 2 best weapons in all of football, and it ain't even close? Mahomes boy. They're the 2 best. It's not even close. Tyreek, Kelsey, they're so good. Kelsey's like a wideout playing tight end. You just throw it within 20 feet of him, he's going to go get it.
I'm not denying that. But did we speak of Tyreek and did we speak of Kelsey when check down Alex Smith was throwing to him? They came into they got Travis Kelsey became a 99 on Madden because of my homeboy. Tyreek is about to be a 99 on Madden because of my homeboy. So I'm not saying they were not great talents, but there's something that took that talent to another level.
I'll give you that. They also grew up right on. They're in their primes now, right along with him.
But guess what? My guy ain't even in his prime. Wait till he's 26. They say you hit your prime, what, Skip, a quarterback? 28, 29, between 28, 29, and 30. So
my guy is 43 years old playing like he's 23. That's all you need to know.
Skip.
And you won't give into it at all.
Skip, let me tell you, all I'm saying.
You want to send him home.
No.
And he's not going home for 3 more years.
Skip.
He's going to keep haunting you.
Skip.
Week after Monday after Monday, he's going to haunt you as you sit over there.
If you would look at this objectively, all I've ever said is that as you start to age, you can have a good quarter, you can have a good half, but Tom Brady made his bones, made his living on game after game after game. And have we seen him play to that game? I'm not talking about a half. I know what he did against the second half against the Patriots. I know what he did against the second half against the Falcons. I know what he did against the second half against San Diego. But have we seen a game in its totality?
There is a thing called defense that you have to lean on occasionally. And I give you this, in New England, they usually had a pretty to very good defense. This defense has been horrendously bad, especially over the last 6 weeks.
I get Skip. I'm talking about his play. I get it. Sometimes you get into a shootout. Sometimes you're struggling offensively and you need your defense to hold them down until you can get it going. All I'm saying is that what we've seen from Tom, and he's had a great season, is that we haven't seen the game after game after game like we've seen from Mahomes, like we've seen from Rodgers.
What was Tampa a year ago? 7 and 9.
Yeah.
What are they right now? 9 and 5.
Right.
I expect for them to win at Detroit. You would think crazier things can happen. It's on Saturday. It's an early game at 1 o'clock Eastern time. But I think they'll win that game.
Yes.
I think they can beat Atlanta in the finale at home.
Yes.
I think they can. 11 and 5 versus 7 and 9.
Yes.
I'd say he's stacked a lot of wins here.
Yeah.
Brand new team, everything new, and you were 6 and 2 at one point, and you threw Antonio Brown into that mix, and you upset that apple cart. Apples were going everywhere for a while.
So that's why they lost 3 in a row, because of Antonio Brown.
Well, I'd say that had a lot to do with it.
I wouldn't say that. I would say Tom Brady's play had a lot to do with it. But you won't mention that. Those 3 interceptions that he had against the Saints. Those 2 interceptions that he had against
horrible
Kansas City. What about Kansas City? Okay.
Well, what about Kansas City? No, seriously, the second half against Kansas City, he was stellar.
Skip,
he outplayed Mahomes for the last 3 quarters of that game. He just outplayed him.
You're making my point.
No, you're making mine.
Skip,
I'm sorry.
I said he can have halves.
Tyreek had 203 receiving yards in the first quarter. When have you ever heard of that before? They put Carlton Davis in single coverage on him for the whole first quarter. And I'm saying, what are you doing, Todd Bowles?
So Brady never got the ball in the first quarter.
No, well, obviously you get the ball, but they're scoring so fast. You're going to be down.
What they got to do with you?
You're down 17-0 before you can even figure out. You're trying to follow your scripted plays. I'm going to do what Coach Arians told me to. I'm going to try this and this. And then finally Tom says, you know what? Hell with it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to swap out some plays at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to check off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And all of a sudden, it starts to percolate. And you saw what he did to Kansas City in the second half. He was extraordinary.
But Skip, you know what?
75-yard drives for touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
I've seen a lot of scripted plays, but I've never seen anybody scripted where they had it like, I need you to go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That was on his watch.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
But then what happened?
They lost.
What happened against Atlanta?
Nothing happened.
Atlanta has an athletic, quick, fast defense.
Skip,
they're flying.
I'm not going to let you do that. When they were up 29-10 on the Cowboys. And Dak Prescott threw... Skip, Dak Prescott threw for 460 yards against that team.
What did you tell me? Empty calories.
Okay.
They're basically playing prevent the whole game.
Just like your guy had against Kansas City. No. Empty calories.
No, those weren't empty calories. He got it back to 27-24 with 4 minutes left. 4:10 left in the game. Just one stop. One stop, and he's going to win that game. You know it.
2 touchdowns and 0 picks when the game was in 1 score. That's what he did.
No mercy.
The Pelicans got a 14-point win on the road over the Raptors in their season opener, despite a quiet 15 points from Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram led all scorers with 24, and J.J. Redick poured in an additional 23 off the bench for New Orleans. Zion did have a team-high 10 rebounds in his nearly 30 minutes of play. So, Shannon, let's jump ahead. Will the Pelicans make the playoffs this season?
Man. Brandon Ingram looked good, 24, 11, Skip. So if I were to look at the Western Conference, okay, I think we got the major players. I think we Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Mavericks, Jazz, Trailblazers. Okay, Suns.
About that last team?
Yeah, they didn't look good last night, did they? Suns, Pelicans, Grizzlies. Kings got a last-second win last night.
You neglected to mention the Spurs, who had a nice opening win.
Oh, man. Yeah, I forgot about that old broccoli. Skip, it's going to be tough. But again, you got the 7-10 play-in game, Skip. So I think I'll be honest, Skip, they looked better last night. And I know it's one game, and I hate saying this, but I think they looked better last night than they did at any point in time last year. Now, maybe they weren't as up and down, Skip, and, throwing half-court lobs and all that. But I thought as a basketball team, watching this game, I love Brandon Ingram. I love, Zion is not a high volume. I mean, he's 7 of 9, Skip. Didn't attempt a 3. A lot of his stuff going to come in the paint. It's going to be layup. It's going to be a lot of acrobatics, left hand, right hand. It's going to be a lot of that. I thought Lonzo Ball shot the ball extremely well, Skip. 4-8 from 3, 4-9 from the floor. Eric Bledsoe. I'm going to say they're going to... I like what I saw. I like Stan Van Gundy. I'm going to say, Skip, I'm going to say they'll get the 8th seed. I'm going to say they'll get the 8th seed. They'll be 8th, 9th. I'm going to say they'll get the 8th seed.
And I agree. And I agree with your takeaway from last night. I loved what I saw. I'm not the biggest Stan Van Gundy fan.
Yeah.
As a coach, I think he gets a little naggy, a little irritable, always in a sourpussy mood, and it's sort of hard to live with. But he will nag you about the defensive end of the floor in a good way.
Yeah.
And I think he's got these kids at least turning their attention to the other end of the floor.
Yes.
And what impressed me was, wow, in the second half, they held the Raptors to 42 points. They held them to 99 for the game.
Yep.
That's pretty good because I respect the Raptors.
Yeah.
And I respect the Raptors' defensive scheme, their commitment to the defensive end. They're still a very good team that's very well coached. And look what happened in the third quarter. They were down, the Pelicans, 56-50 at halftime, and all of a sudden they just took off in the third quarter when I least expected it.
Yeah.
And they won this third quarter 38-22. And Brandon Ingram, who's an all-star, played like an all-star.
He played like an all-star.
He did. He scored 15 in the third quarter on 6 of 9 shots. And my man, Lonzo Ball, in the third quarter alone, if we could see what he did, he made not 1 or 2, he made all 3 of his threes. And that was, these are the biggest shots in the third quarter. Lonzo Ball, this is pretty deep over here. He shot it easy, effortlessly, like he meant it. And he pulled right up and took that one on a sort of a semi-break. And here we go again. And he said, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. I got this.
Step back.
And guess what? Does that not look like a conventional shot to you from the right side of his face? He's not doing
He's shooting it with conviction, Skip.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I believe Brandon Ingram will be even better because Skip, he's the unquestioned. There is no more Holiday. He's the guy.
True.
And they're going to put the ball last second. He's going to have the ball in his hand to make play for himself or create something for Zion.
And my man Zion got off to a rocky start because he got in quick foul trouble. But he doesn't have an ego the size of his body. So he was okay with that. But what does he do? He only shoots 9 times for the game, but he makes 7 of them.
Yep.
He is as efficient a scorer as there is in the league. He was as efficient as there was all last year.
Yes.
If he had qualified, which he did not because he didn't play enough games, he would have set records for a high percentage of makes on field goals. Well, guess what? In his first 25 games in the NBA, he still scored the most points since Allen Iverson back in, what year was it, 96, 97? 96, 97. We're almost going on 25 years. So through 25 games, he scored the most points of any not rookie, but just 25 games because it's crossing over into the next year. He's hurt for a big part of last year. Since Allen Iverson. Okay, that's pretty great. And they added Steven Adams to do the windows, to do the dirty work.
Yes.
So Zion very quietly had 15 and 10 rebounds, but Steven Adams jumped right in and he did his dirty work, right?
Yeah, he had
8 and 8. And so that works. And my God, B.I. got 9 rebounds and 11 assists. So he's pushing. He just needed a rebound for a triple-double and a big triple-double.
Yeah, they got to do something about them free throws, though. You can't shoot 50% from the free throw line because what happened, it'll come back to bite you when you're in a close ball game.
Yeah, I'll buy that. But I still think you'll see that get better and better because what I do love is they made 45% of their threes because J.J. Redick is just a professional shooter.
Yep.
He's a professional three-point shooter, and look what he did. He made 6 of 11. And if Zion keeps making 4 a game and Brandon Ingram can make 3 and And Bledsoe had a nice night. I know Drew Holiday had a big night.
4 of 8 from the three-point line. Look, if I'm playing the Pelicans, where y'all think George Reddick going? He running straight to the three-point line.
But,
he ain't running to
the operative word is running. He is running.
Skip, he ain't running to get no layup. No. He ain't running to get no spot. He running to spot up to the three.
But he's running like Reggie Miller ran.
Yes.
He's going to run off picks, and he's going to run, and he's going to run all night, and you better run with him.
Yeah.
If he gets a half clean look, it's going to go.
It's going up.
Yep.
And he's sprinting to the 3-point line. If you're on if it's a 3-on-1, Skip, he's not trying to fill the lane.
Yep.
He running to the 3-point line.
Okay, so to be objective about a team that I just can't take my eyes off, I will give you this. Toronto in the second half shot 3 of 22 from 3. Well, that'll usually just flat out get you
beat off you.
Okay, and that's what happened. But I still loved what I saw overall from this team. I love the commitment on the defensive end. And I'm seeing the 8th seed because, to your point, if you go with the chalk, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, then let's go down to Jazz, Mavericks. I'll give you the Trailblazers. I'm just not sure about them. Dame had a terrible opening night, but we'll see. They should be a bottom of the playoffs.
Suns.
The Suns are legit. They're coming. They're going to be tough. But if you look above them, are the Rockets not going to plunge? I think they're going to plunge. Are the Thunder going to plunge without CP3, who's now obviously in Phoenix? I think they're going to plunge.
You like the Kings or the Wolves?
The Kings had a huge opening night. They stole one.
I don't know how they won that game, Skip.
I still had a tip in at the end, but Harrison Barnes made a great play on Joker. Just took it away from him on the inbounds.
The play of the game was De'Aaron Fox blocked Barton. Barton had a game that was going to put him up by 4.
No, it was
he blocks it, they go back the other way and get the layup, and then Joker...
It was a chase down in the lane.
Yes.
It was spectacular. They have talent.
But he seemed really casual with his skill. He like he go profile and Fox.
Okay, but they won a game, and they're going to be a factor. And I don't think the Warriors will be the factor. No. Okay, so I'm going to dismiss them. The Spurs, they look like a playoff team. They look like a 7 seed last night. And so I still have the Pelicans in the 8th seed, but to your point, it's 7 to 10 play-in.
Right.
And the Pelicans will be in that mix.
Yes.
And I would not want to play the Pelicans in that mix. That's all I know.
Yeah, your Broccoli team looked okay last night.
They're pretty good. DeMar DeRozan, I'm not the biggest fan, but he was strong last night.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of nice young players.
Yeah, they paying White. They paying them guys like they stars.
Well, they're semi-stars.
No.
No mercy.
The race for the NFC East could potentially come to a close this weekend. Washington can clinch the division with a win and a New York tie or loss. However, with a Washington loss and a Dallas win against Philadelphia, it would leave the door open for the Cowboys to still win the division. We are still in this thing. Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick is joining us this morning. Mike, it is great to see you. And of course, Merry Christmas to you. But we're off tomorrow. So here's the question. When we come back Monday, what will the NFC East look like?
I just start off by saying this is hard to believe that the Cowboys still in it. But that's the reality of the situation. And that's the way it's going down. But on Monday, it'll be all about the Washington football team. I think they beat the Carolina Panthers. I think the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Cowboys, and the Ravens and Giants game, the Giants don't stand a chance. So if this was, a couple weeks ago and the Philadelphia Eagles have made that switch to Jalen Hurts a little bit sooner, I might be singing a different tune on Monday, but I know this storyline to be all about the Washington football team, and they're making it, and rightfully so. They deserve it. They fought hard this year. They was competitive, and it couldn't have ended better for Ron Rivera and Alex Smith. So, while all these teams had a chance, and this was the NFC least all season, I think the Washington football team come out on top, rightfully so.
Well, this is what we're hoping. Well, because the only way that Washington can clinch, they can't clinch with just a win. They need the Ravens to beat the Giants, because the Giants have swept Washington football team like the Washington football team swept the Cowboys. That's why if they were to win, the Cowboys would be mathematically eliminated. With that being said, I do see that scenario happening. I see the Ravens beating the Giants. The Ravens have put together a couple of ball games, played really, really well. Lamar starting to round back into shape, starting to look like the MVP of last year. The Washington football team If Alex Smith was 100% healthy, if he was 85% healthy, it'd be slam dunks, a Shaq dunk, no questions about it. But because he's not, it opens up the door. And the greater the chance of Dwayne Haskins has to play, the greater the probability that the Washington football team would lose. But I'm counting on Alex Smith not only starting the game, but finishing the game. And if he does that, I believe they win. Because the one thing we know about him, Skip, he's really careful with the football. He ain't putting the ball in harm's way. That's how he got the name Check Down Alex. And that's why Andy Reid ultimately, or Mike, you know this, moved on to Patrick Mahomes, because in order to have the talent that he had, he needed to push the ball down the field to maximize that talent. So he made that move. So I'm saying Jalen Hurts, let's go. I'm Team Jalen. Team Jalen Hurts.
But you didn't believe in Jalen.
Don't worry about what I believe in. I believe in Jalen Hurts going to beat the Cowboys, and I believe Washington will beat Carolina, and the Giants going to lose, and Washington football team will be the NFC East champs.
Okay, so I'm here to tell both of you guys you're probably right about everything you just said. But I have asked Dear Santa for only one little thing this year. It's a tiny little thing.
Nope.
Just once, I want a tiny little NFC least under my tree. Just come down. It'll fit right in your big Santa sack. You can just put it right under my tree. It's a tiny little, it's the worst division in the history of football, but I want it.
Hold on.
I just want it.
What about the other thing you asked Santa?
I didn't ask him for anything
about Tom Brady?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Tom Brady get to the Super Bowl?
No, I didn't ask
you don't want that?
That's already a done deal.
Oh, okay.
I don't need Santa's help on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so look, I'll be the first to admit I'm probably getting sucked right back down into the old cowboy trap.
Yep.
I've become delusional. They are messing with my emotions right on cue. I've been misled. I've been duped. I get all that. It's happened to me year after year after year. But suddenly, my Cowboys have become the quietly hottest team in pro football. You saw what Cincinnati did to Pittsburgh on Monday night. My team, just 2 games back, went to that same stadium in Cincinnati and destroyed them.
Oh, destroyed them.
They destroyed Pittsburgh 27-17, and my team won 30-7 against those very same Bengals. And my team turned right around against the 49ers. And I swear you told me that San Francisco was going to win that game, but maybe I'm delusional on that. And the point was, my team won that game 41-33. And would you believe that my team over the last 2 games has forced 7 turnovers and given away the football 0 times, 7-0 in turnover diff over the last 2 weeks? That leads football by far because that's what's happening. My team has caught quiet fire.
They ain't caught no fire. Stop that.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I've lost my mind, but that's what it sure looks like to me. Because go ahead.
Skip, you've been falling into the trap all season, and I'll be the first to say, I honestly, I feel bad for you, because it's like every 2 or 3 weeks, the Cowboys will catch a little fire, and then the fire will get burnt out, it'll go out, and it's like, I'll be coming on the show thinking that we're going to talk positive about the Cowboys, and then they let us down, and then I see your reactions and your emotions, and you all in, and then it's a big letdown, and it's been an emotional roller coaster for you all year, and Monday, it is still a fate. But, the wishful thinking and the optimism, man, you're the consummate, ultimate Cowboys fan, man. I respect that, Skip.
That is true.
Really do.
It's till death do I part.
But you know what?
No doubt.
This is the relationship. Jenny, here's the relationship. You know what? I'm done with you. You such a liar. You make me sick. I'm done. And then guess what? 2 weeks later, y'all back together. I'm done with you. You make me sick. Them stinking Cowboys. He throwing jerseys in the trash can. And then 2 weeks later, he right back together.
Hey, you know how good it is when you get back together, for at least for a little while?
Guess what?
Right?
At the end of the day, Skip, you should know this by now. There's a reason why you keep saying I'm done with them stinking Cowboys. But you can't help yourself. You let them you take them back again and again.
But they brought me back. They pulled me back. They did it. And here's the problem. You want to talk about mixed emotions? Who's the biggest Jalen Hurts fan on the planet? I called it before it happened.
Yes.
He's going to outplay Carson Wentz. He's going to be the long-term answer in Philadelphia. And here he comes. The last time he was at Jerry World was last year against Baylor in the Big 12 championship game, and he played great in that game, had threw for almost 300. I don't doubt he's going to have a big game Sunday, late afternoon at Jerry World. My team's just too hot. So I'm praying for Jalen to play well and my team to play a little better. I got 30-27 Cowboys, and I got a quarterback controversy going on in Washington right now, and you keep disqualifying. Yeah, we got issues. We got issues with Alex Smith's health, and you obviously got all kinds of psychological, emotional leadership issues with Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, damned if you do, damned if you don't. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to have trouble. I bet you'll have trouble scoring against Carolina.
Yeah, I'm sure they will, because they have trouble scoring against everybody except the Cowboys. But anyway, you got issues also. Your defense is dead last against the rush.
That's from way back when, not
What
like
you mean, just way back when?
they held 49ers to 150 yards. That's better than 300. We're coming alive.
Dallas defense still giving up 30 a game.
Yes.
A game. I can't overlook that, Skip. I'm sorry. Man.
Okay, but my offense just scored 30 and 41 in consecutive games. Who knew?
Well, Jalen Hurts be getting a lot of points, so I got Jalen Hurts scoring about 38 on y'all.
Really?
Yep.
They're not beating my Eagles.
38. What do you got the score then? 38 to what, Shannon?
Nah, I'm going to say...
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Just a second. Give me a second.
And now he's backing off.
Eagles 34, Cowboys 26.
26, so that's
8 points.
8. Will you give me 8 for a case?
Nope.
Why not?
Nope.
Because you're afraid of my team.
Straight up.
Because you know it straight up.
Hold on.
I'll take 8. I'll take 8.
Skip, you're favored.
No, we're not. We're underdogs. We're 2.5-point dogs at home.
No.
I'll take 8.
No.
I'll take 6.
Nope.
I'll take 6.
I know what's going to happen.
Nope.
Okay, because you're afraid.
Nope.
And that's okay. You're also afraid of your Washington football team because that team is going to have a hard time against Teddy Bridgewater and company because if you look closely at what Carolina's done, I know they've lost a whole bunch of games, close games on the road. 33-31 at Kansas City. To Drew Brees, 27-24. At Minnesota, 28-27. They will go in and they will fight you. And Teddy Bridgewater will play high-level football. He's just not that talented, but he will keep them in the game.
But guess what, Skip? That tells me when you've lost a lot of close football games that you don't know how to win.
Okay.
So, in other words, one team, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody's knocking them, talking about all they do is win. They don't cover the spread, but they know how to win close ball games. Carolina lose those games because they don't know how to win close ball games. So this is what I'm counting on. Look, we know what Dwayne Haskins is. He's not going to be on the roster. I'm going to be shocked. I bet that he won't be on the roster next year. But for one game, we might need him for one game.
You got dissension.
Yeah.
Their heart's not going to be into playing for him.
Yeah.
Michael, what would happen? What do you think's happening in that locker room with Dwayne Haskins? If he has to start this game because Alex just can't go, how much do you think that team has misgivings now about its former captain, Dwayne Haskins?
Oh, man, they're looking at him sideways.
Yep.
I mean, as a quarterback, you're the leader of the football team, and, you know, some incidents that guys go through, it's hard to shake. And I can see a receiver or a defensive back or a guy, you know, I won't say that any position is not of importance, but the quarterback of the football team, a guy who just had a chance to go out and reshape his career, change the dynamic and the direction of his career, you know, did something so pointless at the end of the day after a loss. And it's just not good. So guys are not looking at you as a true leader. And it is a big reason for that. He did it to himself.
Skip, I was reading the Philly paper. And I heard Brian Westbrook said something very interesting, the great former running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. He says it looks to him that the guys are playing harder for Jalen Hurts than they did for Carson Wentz.
I told you that. I said that. The first day I said that.
So now that's what you want guys to do. Guys looking at Dwayne Haskins now, they're going to play hard, Skip, because what they have is right there in front of them. They still got a chance to win the division. But they're never going to look at it. He can never leave that locker room again.
Nope, I agree. Okay?
Yep.
Finally.
Can't come back.
That's right. Okay, so remember this. They just got flexed out of an early game into a late afternoon stage game.
Pretty special.
Big national TV late afternoon game at home. And all of a sudden, they're going to wake up on Sunday morning like, us?
Yep.
Really? Us? All of a sudden, they're going to feel pressure they have not felt for years in Washington.
I can assure you, they played at 4 o'clock in the afternoon before.
Yeah, but nobody cared. Nobody cared. They care now.
You see what he do? He make it seem like they played at 9 a.m. in the morning East Coast time.
Well, virtually.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No,
I'm sorry.
You play at 1 or you play at 4 on the East Coast.
Yeah. Carolina's going to break through with the upset of the year in the NFL.
That's what you're hoping.
They're going to win this game 20-17.
Nah.
Yep. I got it.
They're not winning this game.
And Monday morning, it's going to be all tied at the top, and then it's going to be up to Jalen Hurts to end the Washington season, and it's going to be up to my team on fire, having won 3 in a row, to go up to the Giants and do in their former coach, Jason 8-8 Garrett.
Y'all that's not even a real fire. Y'all one of those candles that you flick the light and it comes on, but that's not even a real fire.
You can turn it on.
Yeah. That's not
well,
even
I did it. I turned it on.
That's not even a real fire. Yeah. But your day coming. Yeah. About 6:15 on Sunday, your day will be here. Your day of reckoning is going to be here. All day you go like, Santa, you did it to me again.
You know what? I'm going to get up in the morning and there's going to be a tiny little trophy under my tree. It's a little one, just like 2 inches tall. And it's going to say NFC Least on it.
Social media, get ready. Zeke, I'm sorry, bro. Your jersey's going back in the trash can. Somebody's jersey going in the trash can. Nope. Somebody had.
Nope,
yes, no throwing away any presents. If your team gets you Cowboy stuff, Skip, it doesn't matter what happens on Sunday. You can't throw it away. That is a gift. So remember that. Remember that. Michael, it's great to have you. Merry Christmas. We'll check in with you next week.
No mercy.
I know Skip wants a Cowboys win for Christmas, but I would like a Vikings win Christmas Day. It's an NFL special. My Vikings take on Drew Brees and the Saints. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern on Fox, also available on NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. Can't wait for that one. Well, guys, LaMelo Ball was racking up highlights in the preseason, but came up short last night in a season-opening 7-point loss to the Cavs. The 3rd overall pick by Michael Jordan played nearly 16 minutes off the bench, but went 0 for 5 with 0 points, 3 assists, and 3 turnovers. That's maybe not the best start, but Shannon, how concerned should Michael Jordan be? It is early.
Yeah, it's one game, Skip. He played 16 minutes, but the other 2 guys that's in front of him was going crazy. Terry Rozier made 10 3-pointers, 10 or 16 from the 3-point line, had a career high.
42.
Had 42. Devontae Graham, who was unbelievable last year, Skip, had 10 points and 10 assists. So LaMelo didn't play in the 4th quarter, but it does put him in very distinguished company. Of the top 3 picks, I think they said in the last 20, 25 years, he, Otto Porter Jr., Greg Oden, and Hassim Thabit are the only top 3 picks that did not score a point in the NBA debut. I don't know if I really want to be on that list because but Thabit and Greg Oden, Skip, it didn't go well. Otto Porter got a lot of money, but he hasn't been what a lot of people thought he was.
Nope.
But Skip, LaMelo is really not known as a scorer. He's more known for playmaking. And I don't really know how much playmaking with Graham playing the way he does and Terry Rozier playing the way he does, because Rozier can put the ball in the basket. So can Graham. But they also can facilitate. So I'm not going to look, it's the first game. Maybe it was anxious and he was trying. I mean, he was 0 for 5 from the floor, as Jenny mentioned, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. So I'm not going to, it's one game. Now, but I'm going to need to see something moving forward, Skip. I can't see a whole lot of more 0-point games and says, okay, yeah, it's all good.
Because you told me at the end of yesterday's show that the game you were most looking forward to watching was LaMelo's game.
Yeah, and then Terry Rozier started going crazy. And then I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see LaMelo. Yeah.
Okay. The first bad sign for me was I realized LaMelo's just a teenager. We get that. But he doesn't even start for what's not a very good team. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I don't.
Right. No, hell no, they ain't making the playoffs.
But what I'm saying, you saw the firepower from... I like Terry Rozier. I have a lot high respect for him.
I like Graham.
Yeah, I do too. And Gordon Hayward, I'm not the biggest fan, but they gave him a lot of money. And he scored 28 last night, but they're not going to sniff the playoffs.
Right.
So LaMelo doesn't start. And as you point out, he plays a grand total of 16 minutes last night. And while he was on the floor, he looked lost to me. There were a lot of standing in the corner plays where he's like watching Terry Rozier. And they were playing him with Rozier and Devontae Graham. They were playing 3 guards. Well, how much touch is he going to get? Right. How much are you going to have the basketball in his hands? Not a lot.
No.
So.
And I don't know if he's a guy that can play without the ball in his hands.
He is the point guard.
Yes.
He's got to be the orchestrator of the offense.
Yes.
For his own offense or for the rest of the guys' offense. And you think he's going to be a better passer than his big brother. I don't see that yet. You could be right because I just haven't seen enough of him at this high level. He played in the Australian League.
Right.
He was horrible from 3 in that league, was under 30%. I think he was 25%. He was 0 for 3 from 3 last night. Didn't even get to the free throw line. I don't know. He had 3 assists, and he did have 2 steals. He can steal the ball like his brother can. But again, I am the biggest Michael Jordan fan on the planet, but when it comes to running the franchise, I am the least of the fans, because this is horrendous what keeps happening here. And I'm sure Charlotte fans just sat back last night and said, well, here we go again.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, what happens is that they keep falling in the second spot. You get the second pick, and Anthony Davis goes 1, you're stuck with Kid Gilchrist. You get, the third pick, and you get Adam Morrison, you could have got. So that's the thing, Skip. It's like, you get the second pick when Peyton Manning comes out, or you get the second pick with one of these franchise, one of these franchise quarterbacks. Somebody gonna be ticked off again because, Trevor Lawrence is gonna go first. They're like, well, dang.
Okay, just to remind people, and I hate to bring it back up, but under Michael's supervision, under his expertise, running the franchise, they've made the playoffs 3 times in 14 years. They got swept twice. They took the Miami Heat to 7 games once. So the record is 3-12 in the postseason under Michael, with only 3 appearances in 14 years.
Right.
Well, that's the Eastern Conference. Yeah, that's not right.
No. You need somebody to make a mistake. You need to be in the 2 spot, and somebody takes Greg Oden, and you get a Kevin Durant.
And then, as I always tell you, sometimes the greater the player, the worse the drafter. Because he was so great. You
can't see skill.
You can't see. You just can't. Well, I could do it, but I think he could. No, he can't do it.
Right.
No. So remember, he did take Kwame Brown when he was running the Wizards with the 1st overall.
Correct.
Okay, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't the 1st overall pick. And then just a few of these that I'm going to run through. He drafted Adam Morrison over Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy had a short career, but he was better. In that short career, he was better than Adam Morris.
He drafted Kemba, who's really good, but he passed on Clay and Kawhi. I don't know about that. And then he took Michael Kidd Gilchrist over Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard. Still on the board.
Thank you.
No, I don't think that'll work. And then let's go down to, he took Frank Kaminsky over Devin Booker. No. He even took Malachi Richardson over Pascal Siakam. No. And then Malik Monk over Donovan Mitchell. These are just a few. Okay? It's just one after another. It's no good.
But think about it, Skip. What are all those guys? Those guys are from prominent programs. You look at Damian Lillard, you look at some of those other guys, they come from lesser programs. So he's going with the tried and trues. He's going with the Kentuckians and all those big name programs, the blue bloods. But sometimes a Dame Lillard, you got to go off the beaten path.
You got to go off the path. I agree. You got to be able to see it and believe it and know it, and he doesn't as a team builder.
Skip, but when you're that great, and Magic said it. Magic said, I would ask a guy, I'm like, man, why you didn't do that? And the guy would say, Irvin, he's not you. He can't see that. He can't do. That was a gift. You don't get how. And the greats, they really don't get how special they are because they just roll out of bed and do what they do. Michael didn't. I mean, that jumping, like, what? Everybody can't jump like this. Everybody can't shoot a mid-range like this. Kobe, everybody can't fade away. No, that's a gift. Everybody can't do that. And so he's thinking that. Oh, yeah, well, why can't you? Man, I can do that in my sleep.
Yep.
Yeah,
and now we see so many R.C. Bufords and Sam Presties who did not play pro basketball.
Right.
They're just guys who get it.
And look at the coaches.
Okay. A lot of they didn't play.
You get very few coaches that actually played the game. I mean, you got Ditka and Coach Dungy, I think, might be the only guys that actually played in the NFL. One Super and coach in one Super. Because it's hard, Skip. You look at Coach Belichick. You say Coach Belichick played lacrosse.
He did.
He coached football. You look at
Division III Wesleyan.
It's normally the coaches that were okay, the below average players that make the great coaches.
I got it. And to button this up, Anthony Edwards, who went one to Jenny's T-Wolves, he said after the game last night, which he was pretty good, and he had 15, 4, and 4.
Yeah.
He said, it's not that hard, to be honest. I mean, in the transition, he said, coming out of college where I got double-teamed every game, all game.
Right.
Here, they can't double because we have too many shooters.
Right.
So he obviously doesn't get double-teamed, and he had a nice start. Okay.
Basically, Skip, it's just one-on-one. Yeah. Can you win one-on-one? Because like you said, he got D-Law, he got Karl Anthony Towns, so he's going to be the third option. So you're going to probably get the third best player. So
So he says it's not that hard, and LaMelo scores 0.
0 points is kind of a tough one. I don't know if we're going to hear from Dad today after that performance. Maybe not.
No mercy.
Considering the Cowboys were the runaway preseason favorites to win the NFC East, their current 5-9 record could easily be described as disappointing. When asked if that's how Jerry Jones felt during his weekly radio interview, Jerry said, quote, "This certainly ranks as one of the most surprising seasons. I thought we had, personnel-wise, one of the best teams we've ever had." So, Shannon, is this accurate or delusional?
Skip, Jerry delusional. He did bring in a lot of guys that had played in the Pro Bowls, but Skip, they had been so far removed from the last time they had gone to the Pro Bowl. And you know, once you're in the Pro Bowl, that's on your resume. That's there. But I was reading, they say you should update you should update your resume every 6 months to a year. These guys hadn't updated those Pro Bowl resumes in 3, 4, 5 years. Skip. That's what I love about Jerry. Because Jerry said this is one of the most talented. Get it, repeat what you said. What did Jerry say? Make sure I get it right.
About if it's delusion?
No, one of the roster.
The exact quote. Okay. He said, as one of the most surprising seasons ever, he thought personnel-wise this was one of the best teams we've ever had.
Ever had.
Skip, you don't mind me asking. Every player on that roster, what are the reasons they're in Dallas? Jerry Jones. So what the hell you expect him to say? That's like a chef saying, this is one of the best menus I've ever put together. You put it together. What do I expect you to say? Just some trash I'm serving? Jerry Jones, this is very self-serving, bro.
Wait a second. Does the health department come in and say you can't have that dish, that dish, that dish, that dish? Is that what happens?
No, but Skip, you don't get to say this is if you put it all together, did you actually think Jerry's going to say this roster was not, we got a lot of pieces that's wrong, that's out of place? He put it together. This is self-serving. He drafted those players. He traded for those players. He signed those players free agency. So what the hell did we expect him to say? That it was trash? When he brought, of course, Jerry. When have you ever known Jerry not to pat himself on the back? Skip, the old saying is every frog will praise his own pond. He got the deepest, bluest waters, the nicest lily pad, the prettiest fish. Of course. What did you expect Jerry to say when he drafted or the reasons why every player is there? Exactly what he said.
I'm sorry, I am with Jerry on this. If you just go back to opening day to start with, they were tied for the second most Pro Bowlers on any roster in the NFL. If you go back to mid-off-season, and I'm going back there right now, they were running away with Pro Bowl players because if we go back before all hell broke loose, they had 27 Pro Bowls to the credit of all their offensive starters, okay? So combined, they had made 27 Pro Bowls.
Right.
That's extraordinary.
Right.
You can't find that.
Okay.
But that was with Ty Smith, who had 7. He lasted 2 games. He's gone for the year. That was with Travis Frederick, who had 5, and he had to retire because of a syndrome that he was suffering, and it was a shock because he was right in the middle of his prime. Zach Martin has obviously been hit and miss on his injuries this year. He's gone now. He's 6 Pro Bowls. Should have been 7 this year. Dak, 2 Pro Bowls. Zeke, 3, and Amari, 4. That's a lot of firepower in offense. And if all those players are back and healthy, and I didn't even add Lyle Collins, who has not yet made a Pro Bowl, but he was on the verge of making his first Pro Bowl. He's gone for the year. If you have all those players healthy and happy, all still in their primes, I'm sorry, they're going to be really, really good.
Can't we say that about every team?
Well, I'm saying about this one because no team got hit harder on offense on injuries than this team did.
Harder than
wiped out.
Let me ask you this question.
Wiped out.
Harder than the 49ers.
Yeah.
Skip,
They
they lost every last running back. They lost their quarterback. They lost their top quarterback.
Ditto. The whole offensive line is gone.
And wide receivers.
The whole offensive line is gone.
And tight end.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's right there with me because if you take out all those Pro Bowl offensive linemen, you got no shot. And they cobbled together an offensive line that's actually playing pretty well right now with 2 undrafted free agents as the bookend tackles, one a rookie, one in his second year.
Okay, so what does that say, Skip? if you change coaches and you're still underperforming, so who is that an indictment of?
Well,
are the players not as talented as you say they are, or you need to change coaching staffs again?
Okay, well, it's an indictment of the injury gods. I don't know how you prevent that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just too many. If you have that many injuries and take away that many perennial Pro Bowlers, you're going to struggle on offense. That's just a fact.
But you didn't do that with the Eagles when their offensive line was wiped out, when their receiving core was wiped out, when the running backs was wiped out. You never made those same concessions.
Well,
the same thing with the 49ers.
You had your starting quarterback and you loved him.
Okay, so Skip, so you remember what happened when your offensive line was bad and Dak didn't have anybody to throw to? You remember what happened when Zeke was out and Dak got sacked 8 times and he looked terrible, and you had to make a trade and give up 2 first-rounders for Amari Cooper. So you could have all your starters. There's a reason why Brady left. Brady was healthy, but you need weapons. So I need somebody to tell me, with all that firepower. So what about the defensive side? If I'm not mistaken, Wolf Hunter was a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
Jalen Smith was a Pro Bowler. Clinton Dix was a Pro Bowler.
He was. DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 Pro Bowls. Gerald McCoy, who was got hurt, 6 Pro Bowls. Everson Griffin they brought in. I thought that was a great pickup. 4 Pro Bowls. Dontari Poe, I thought, was the best pickup of the whole offseason. As an anchor of the defensive front, 2 Pro Bowls. Whew. That's 18 combined Pro Bowls for the new defense that I thought on opening day or just before opening day was going to be great. Gerald McCoy went down a little before then. But, my God, that's a lot of new firepower on defense, and somehow they revolted, they mutinied against the new defensive coordinator, who was the worst pickup of the offense was Mike Nolan.
The worst thing a parent can do for a child is to never fault their child, but blame the teacher or blame a situation in which the child constantly in. Skip, listen, if everywhere you go something smells like poop, it ain't somebody else pooping, you there.
Okay.
So it has to be you.
All these Pro Bowlers decided that Mike Nolan's defense was poop. They made it very clear. They made it very clear to everybody, including some reporters, this is poop, and we aren't going to stand for it. And guess what Jerry did at midseason? Thank you very much.
And what did it change?
And goodbye.
And what did it change?
He cut Gerald McCoy. He cut Everson Griffin. He cut Dontari
Traded
Poe.
Everson.
Traded Everson Griffin. Got rid of him. And he cut Clinton Dix. What?
So let me ask you a question. After he made those moves, how many games did you win after you got rid of the last guy that was there? I think Everson Griffin was the last guy that you traded.
Yep.
And you cut Worley. I think you cut Worley too. So I want to know. So what was
But he wasn't a Pro Bowler. But whatever. He's now starting.
Jen, this is some advice from you when you become a parent. That's the worst mistake that you can make. Your child, I understand Cowboys, but you got to hold them accountable, and you refuse to. You blame the injury gods. You blame the offensive guard. You blame Mike Nolan. I have yet to put. So when they rush it for 300 yards and 250 and 150 and 185.
I know, but you're talking about like 4th graders with the 4th grade teacher. Well, wait a second. What if the 4th grade teacher is teaching Oxford graduates?
No.
Oxford graduates.
I'm telling you,
you got to blame the 4th grade teacher.
I'm telling you, your child is being disruptive. See, and you know, the thing about parents, they know their child because the child is disruptive. It's hard for me to see a scenario where your child is not disruptive at home, just chooses to be disruptive at school. You know, you watch them enough to what you see. You know they aren't very good, but Jerry wants to pat himself on the back. I am not, Skip. When the teacher says, okay, grade your test, I am not giving myself a C. I am not giving myself a B. I'm giving myself an A. You let me grade my own paper, I'm giving myself an A. Jerry Jones wants to grade his own personnel moves, and he gave himself an A. Like we don't know what's going on.
Well, injuries and mutiny, and they either got rid of themselves thanks to the injury gods, or he cut them or traded them.
Okay.
Well, come on. Well, look at what it was. It was greatness waiting to happen. You were in big trouble.
Let me ask you a question.
You got the break of your undisputed life.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, so injuries, wiped them out. Did Dak finish the season healthy last year? What about Zeke? What about Amari? What about Zach Martin? What about Travis Fletcher? What about Tyron Smith? What about Wolf Hunter? What about Jalen Smith? What about D-Law? Tell me the guy that finished on IR last year, and did you make the playoffs? Okay.
Coach's fault. Blame the teacher. I don't know what he taught. It was old 8-8 Jason's.
Skip, I can't believe you, Skip.
Well,
Skip, here you are, a senior, and I'm giving you ABCs, and you telling me to teach. I didn't learn my ABCs earlier.
I appreciate you bring that up because the point was my quarterback had a tough year. He had a rocky road on the road because every road game he stunk. He stunk at New England, and he stunk at Philadelphia, and I could just go on and on about stinking at the Jets. It was one game after another where he stunk. And then you said he deserved $42 million, and that was disrupted to this team also, that he didn't get paid the way he demanded to get paid, the way you wanted him overpaid to wreck my salary cap.
I don't try to wreck your salary cap. I just want the man to get fair compensation. That's it.
No mercy.
Tomorrow is a Christmas Day showdown between LeBron and Luka. And remember, this offseason, LeBron gushed over Luka, calling him one of his favorite players in the league. Both teams dropped their openers and will be looking for their first win of the season. So, Shannon, what do you expect tomorrow?
I expect the Lakers to play a lot better than what they played the opening night. I expect them to shoot the ball a lot better. I expect them to have a lot better chemistry after playing one game together. This practice is fine, and you want to get some understanding, some knowledge about where guys kind of want the ball. But it's something entirely different to actually get out there on the court and actually do. And so I think Schroeder will have a better feel of playing alongside LeBron. LeBron will get a little better at playing off the basketball, although I would prefer LeBron to have the ball in his hand. AD will definitely be a lot more aggressive and play aggressive. And, the key to the Mavs is not to try to get into a scoring contest with them. You got to be physical. You got to score, knock Luka around. So probably KCP will probably open up the game on him, playing him like that. And then, Wesley Matthews. They got some guys. Morris will probably bang him a little bit. But I expect the Lakers to play a lot better, and we'll start to see this team look like what I expect them to look like.
I agree, and then some. I think this will be a Christmas gift for LeBron James.
Christmas Day massacre, huh?
Yeah, it won't be a massacre, but it'll be a gift because this is just what the doctor ordered after my Clippers made LeBron quit in the opener.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, Skip.
8 minutes, he just said, that's enough.
Skip, you do remember, now, I just want you to know, now, last year, you guys won by 10 on opening night. You won by 7, so what did it get you?
Did you see what Luka did last night at Phoenix? He was 0 for 6 from 3. The guy you call Baby Bird was 0 for 6 from 3. I remind you, last year he shot 31.6% from 3. Of qualified shooters, 147, he ranked 140th in three-point shooting. And with a minute or less to go in games, he missed 21 threes, which was the most in all the NBA. And last night, he missed one to tie with 1:05 left at Phoenix after they roared back into that game.
Well, the thing is, Skip, it seems to me that when he's struggling shooting the three, he started shooting them from further out. He missed from 25. He said, let me go to 27. Let me try 30. Maybe this 32-footer going to go in.
I will give you this. He's really good from 2 feet away because I don't know why they can't stop him, but he just slithers up and he Euro moves them. He's so wily, so crafty.
And he shot the ball better from the free throw line, too.
He did. He made his free throws last night, which he did not make last year. We'll see if that holds up. But I think there's no Porzingis, obviously. This will work.
What's the score? How many did the Lakers win by?
15. By 15.
Dang.
Yeah. What do you think?
You have little to no respect.
Well, not for Baby Bird, because now he's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP, and you cannot shoot a lick from 3. You start off 0 for 6.
Hell, that's Giannis. Giannis won the last 2 threes. The last 2 MVPs that can't shoot a lick from the 3.
I know, but he's 6'11" and it's got wingspan of 7'6", so he's got that going for him.
But my guy, look there. You look at that. You see Skip. You look at him like.
And the one thing those two have in common: neither was ready for the season shape-wise. Neither in shape. But it won't matter tomorrow because LeBron's not going to guard Luka. So the Caps ain't as sculpted as they normally were. But he gonna get right. He gonna get right against Luka tomorrow. I think that's an old picture of LeBron.
Trip dub.
That's from the bubble.
Trip dub. That's a trip dub.
That's a bubble picture.
No. You know he was in peak condition in the bubble, Skip.
You know what? I think he was out running some wind sprints in the backyard yesterday, saying, "I got to get back."
He gonna get Skip. See, you don't rush perfection. The great cheeses, you let it pasteurize, you sit up and you let it go. The great meats, you don't rush it. The great wines, you don't rush perfection. You let it take its time. You let nature do what it does.
So this is the showcase game, but it's going to be a cakewalk. And then the late game is the more intriguing game because the Clippers need to go get just a little bit of revenge at Denver, where Denver lost its opener to Sacramento.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yep.
That hurt last night. Yep. That was painful. Because there's no way. Once they got the lead, they got in overtime and they were up, Skip. And Michael Porter Jr. going to be the deal with, Skip.
He had a big game. I agree.
I was like, you know what?
Murray, not so much last night.
Yeah, Skip, that was bad. Because I for a second, I'm like, hold on. I'm looking, and he wasn't even in to close the game, Skip.
That probably bodes not so well for the Clippers tomorrow night.
Yeah, so he might go off. But, Skip, you cannot be the guy. And when in crunch time, the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes of a ball game, fourth quarter overtime, you're not in the game. That cannot happen.
That wasn't happening in the bubble because he was the game.
Yes.
Bubble, right?
And that's what's so surprising, Skip. You saw that game, the way he played against the Lakers. Those last 3 to 4 games that he played against Utah, Skip, might be as good as anybody's played in a playoff game. And then the opening of the season, maybe he was nicked or something.
Number 77, overrated.
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, man.
Stop it with the MVP talk. Stop it.
He coming out there, he probably already out here getting a tan. He probably on Malibu getting a tan right now.
All right.
No mercy.
Trae Young proved once again in his season opener that he is one of the game's elite scorers. The third-year Hawks guard put up 37 points on just 10 for 12 from the field in a 20-point win over the Bulls. Young is the only player to ever have 37-plus points on 12 or fewer field goals. Shannon, how impressive was this?
It's really impressive. And I liked him coming out of college a little bit more than you did, Skip.
A whole lot more.
He led the nation in scoring and assists. And I thought with his handles, you thought he was going to be able to, he would struggle because he's so small getting that shot off. But when you got handles like that, you can get the spots before they beat you there. And so same thing with Kyrie, same thing with Steph Curry. Smallish guards, but can get that shot off against anybody. He's very impressive.
I never thought I would use the word efficient to describe a Trae Young game, but I will give you this. But remember, his three-point shooting was horrendous. His first year, 32%, 36% last year, which ranked only 91st. And remember, in defensive win shares a year ago, he ranked 325th. So that's still a big problem, as is the turnovers. He had 4 last night, which by his standards, not that bad. He was second to James Harden last year in turnovers.
No, Skip. He's always, Skip. He's 5'11". And so he ain't guarding anybody unless it's Isaiah Thomas the second. Skip, what happened? Jamal Murray had fouled out late in the fourth quarter, so that's why he didn't finish the game. Okay. Right. But he was 1 for 9, 0 for 5 from 3 before fouling out. He was bad.
Well, guys, that is it for Undisputed. Merry Christmas, Skip, Shannon. Lucky to work with you guys. We'll be back here Monday. Will the Cowboys pull it off? Have a safe and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Let's go, Lakers.